Dr. Radke, you spearheaded the vet set here in New York City. Tell us, what led you to make this program available to pet owners?
Well, my partner and I, Dr. Taylor, decided to come to New York and do this practice, mostly because we recognize the need to have a more convenient way of receiving high-quality veterinary care. And we also recognize that New York City in particular, it's a difficult city to travel around with your animal in. And so it's hard to get your dog on the subway or in a cab. Your cat gets stressed out leaving their apartment in their carriers, and it takes a lot of time out of all of our busy days going to the vet. And so we decided, why not have the vet come to you, less stress on everybody involved, especially with the animals, and it's just a nice, convenient way to get your vet care.
That sounds really ideal.
Yeah.
What's the response been like?
It's been really good. I think, fortunately, New York City is very primed. Everything gets delivered here, right? We're all on Seamless, and, Uber is huge. So everybody, I think, is very used to having things delivered. So it's been a really great response. Everybody's been very excited about us and the concept, and then we've been getting a lot of clients from a number of different avenues, and everybody's really thrilled by it. So, yeah.
Now, it actually sounds like a house call by a vet would be pretty expensive. Is that the case?
Right. Not really when you factor everything into it. So, certainly our goal is, we want to provide the highest quality care possible, but we don't want everyone to break the bank doing it. And so, I think we've done a good job of, it is a service and a convenient service, so you're going to pay a little bit for that. But overall, I think everyone ends up paying about the same that you would, going to a veterinarian. You're just cutting down on that time. The other thing that we're really big on is providing estimates before we even show up. So there's no sticker shock. You know exactly what you're getting into financially. And we can kind of go over stuff on the phone or over email before we show up and talk about, everything on the estimate before we get there. So that money talk's sort of out of the way before, before we show up, which is everyone's least favorite part, especially ours, so, yeah.
So let's talk services. Are they limited because you're not actually in the office?
Right, that's a good question, and I think that everyone asks that. To be honest, I would say about 80% of the things that you would have done in a clinic, you can actually do in the home setting. So we do everything from wellness care, vaccines, your basic, blood tests, but we can also do, blood pressure measurements and urinalysis and more advanced blood testing. There's even people that do ultrasounds in the home, so they'll come to you. So it's really things that require anesthesia, so dental cleaning, surgeries, stuff like that we can't do in the home. But everything else you can actually do in the home environment, which makes it really nice.
That doesn't sound limited at all, actually.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there's actually a lot you can do.
So since we have a doctor in the house, do you have some top winter pet tips that you mind sharing with us? Yeah, for sure. I would say for dogs, the biggest thing is to protect their feet during the winter time. So a lot of dogs, in addition to getting cold, there's all the salt on the road right now, and that can be really irritating to their feet as they're walking around. Some dogs even get irritated by the snow. So there's little booties, there's those little plastic, balloon-looking things that you can put over their feet, and those are great for protecting their feet. Depending on your dog, putting a coat or jacket on them really helps, because a lot of dogs, just like we do, get pretty cold out there when the temperatures drop. I see them shivering all the time.
I know, yeah. And then the other thing that we're kind of focusing on, because as house call veterinarians, we've actually had a lot of cat clients, which, you walk around the city and you see all the dogs and you don't think about all the cats that are sitting up there in the apartments. I know. Not necessarily lonely, hopefully, but cats, most of the cats in the city are indoor-only cats, which they should be, because that's the safest thing for them. And they don't want to leave their apartment at all. It's very stressful on them. So we've had a lot of cat owners really be responsive to our services. And so keeping your cat indoors, you know, in the winter or in the summer, there are a variety of things you can do to sort of enrich their life since they have to stay inside. So we're big proponents of having, like, you know, perches and window hammocks and, you know, toys, you know, catnip and all this, you know, all these things in the apartment to really enrich your cat's life and make them happier.
We have a couple minutes left.
Okay.
Can you tell me about City Kitty?
Yes, City Kitty. So I kind of touched on that. City Kitty is kind of our way of talking about how to make your City Kitty's life happy and healthy. And like I just talked about, you know, enriching their environment is a big one. The other one that really affects their health, we see a lot of obesity in indoor-only cats because they're less active, they're not running around, they're kind of like sitting on their perch looking out the window all day. And so they can tend to gain weight. So, and you know, weight gain in cats, just like in people, we are seeing more type 2 diabetes in cats these days, a lot of arthritis, so weight-related health issues that can actually shorten your cat's life. So, so we're big proponents of, you know, keeping cats at a healthy weight and recommending measuring out your food. If you're not already, free feeding is probably the worst thing you can do for an overweight cat. It's convenient, yeah, but you know, so giving them 2 or 3 meals a day that are measured out. Most cats don't need a whole lot more than like a half to 3/4 of a cup of food a day or 1 5-ounce can of wet food each day. So, which isn't very much, and you know, if you're just filling the bowl, the cat's eating all that they want, and that's not good for them. So, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Radke, for being here.
Thank you so much.
Go to vetset.net and you can learn more about Dr. Radke and the services that she provides. Talk about international! Paws in the City has truly become a global event for Celebrity Catwalk. All the way from Guatemala is pet designer Juanita Esparza, and with her to help translate with us today is Dr. Lily Cervantes, a Paws in the City model and supporter with Diva Tomasa. When did you first learn how to sew, and who taught you?
Ok, Juanita, ella pregunta que cuándo aprendiste a coser y quién te enseñó.
Mi mamá me enseñó a coser hace unos años y empecé a hacer vestidos para los perritos.
Okay, she said she learned everything from her mom, and that's why she really got into pets designer and couture.
She got it from a mama, okay. What led you to design for dogs?
¿Qué te inspiró a diseñar para los perros?
Mis perritos, mis propias mascotas me inspiraron para crearles vestidos hermosos.
Okay, so she's saying that her own dogs inspired to creating these beautiful things. That's why she gets most of her inspiration from actually her own pets and her own babies.
Oh. What's the definition of the word beauchon?
El perro hermoso en francés.
It is a beautiful dog in French.
Oh, that is so sweet. So is that your dog that you were describing?
Yes. This is Princess, and she has a beautiful dress from Guatemala with unique fabric and represent the old tradition of my country.
Wow.
Like a boots, artisany, fruits.
Look at all the details. It's amazing, right? So it's representing really actually her culture. You know, maybe the bags that the women use sometimes. Like all typical details. It's gorgeous.
This is really beautiful. There's a basket here. What's the basket represent?
Artesany. Como cántaros, como se
Okay, yeah, those are very typical things from Guatemala. Those are the big things that women used to carry to maybe get some minerals from the water. So that's some of the story behind that symbol.
Yes.
And there's a basket of...
Estas bellas mujeres son las que trabajan las telas a mano para hacer la artesanía.
Oh, okay. It's representing all the beautiful women who works to make this fabric.
A mano.
By hand sew fabric.
Oh my goodness. How long does it take to make such a garment?
3 days.
3 days, that's it?
Actually.
Wow, you're good. Can you tell me a little bit about what we have on display here? I see sequins.
Yes.
jewels, lace. This is like a Valentine's Day special.
This is suit too. ¿Le pueden decir que este es un traje de joyas?
Okay, this is a jewel dress with a lot of sparkles.
Sí. La falda se puede quitar.
Oh, you can actually remove the skirt.
Ooh.
Oh, that is amazing.
Oh my goodness.
And it becomes a small, more like a cocktail dress.
Sí.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great. So you can go from a ball gown dress to actually just simple, nice cocktail outfit.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
This is very nice.
Este es largo también.
That one is also a long dress, like a ball gown dress. And how gorgeous will this match with this super cute?
How cute is that?
Yeah, so good. You notice that the boys, they can also have some sparkles on
Of
it.
course. Guys like the sparkly too.
Yeah.
That too. This is a minky, fake minky coach for this.
So
for
faux
this
fur.
style. Yes.
Faux mink.
And this is another suit.
Which is your favorite?
And this. Of course. And this one. Este está hecho a mano.
Oh, okay, so that's important. She's saying this one, she made it for Diva Tomasa, and I'm loving this one. She's saying this is handmade. All the detail, it's handmade into the...
There are pearls on here.
Yes.
Roses.
Beautiful, right? All the
crystals,
detail.
flowers.
Gorgeous.
And this is the third favorite for me.
So the average time for each garment, or does it depend on which one it is or how much you use?
El tiempo que tardas depende de cada uno.
Depende de cada uno. Este es el que más me ha llevado tiempo y este. Sí.
Okay, so she's saying that it depends on each one. She's saying that this one might take a little some time, and also this one, right?
Yes.
Because it has a lot of handwork on it.
Of course, of course. Do people embrace the pet designs in Guatemala?
Que si las personas realmente han ido tras todos esos diseños de alta cultura en Guatemala, ¿es algo normal allá?
No, no es normal. Estamos empezando a que la gente empiece a querer vestir a sus mascotas de esta forma porque los visten más casuales.
Okay.
Y esto pues es algo nuevo para
Okay,
ellos.
yeah, well, she's saying it's a new thing in Guatemala. In our Latin countries, people still don't see, the dogs and the animals and the pets the way we see them. But she's saying it's a new thing that she's actually really trying to do it big and to go for it.
And speaking of big, it's been a major hit in New York and in the U.S. in general. Can we expect more of Beauchamp designs?
Que ella dice que ha sido súper grande todo esto de alta
Sí.
cultura, los perritos, que sí, esperamos más de tu marca.
Sí, vamos a esperar más vestidos largos y de diferentes temas de las estaciones del tiempo, como ahorita el frío, el verano.
She's saying she's really into the long dress ball gowns, and she's saying also that she will try to make different styles according to different seasons in United States. So definitely there's a lot more coming from her.
Wow. We'll have you as a guest on Pause in the City. What can we expect from you on the catwalk?
Ella dice que sí vas a estar en el Celebrity Catwalk y ¿qué vamos a ver de tu marca?
Bueno, vamos a ver más trajes como estos típicos de Guatemala.
She's saying there will be a lot more of these traditional Guatemala designs. She really wants to do it here.
Sí.
Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you.
Pause in the City. You can get more information and be updated on celebritycatwalk.com. Welcome back to Celebrity Catwalk. Have you ever wanted to be a published author? Here with us are two published authors. Welcome Lauren Dar and Elena Romero. You offer two very diverse backgrounds. Lauren, an author of children's books, and Elena, your book, Freestylin', How Hip Hop Changed the Fashion Industry, is a comprehensive account of urban fashion. So Elena, how long was the idea for a book dancing around in your mind before you pulled the proverbial trigger?
Well, to many, at a surprise, the idea was well over a decade old. How the idea became a fully executed book is quite a long task. But I had the idea while I was a associate editor at the now defunct DNR, and I also served as a contributing editor to Women's Wear Daily, covering the young men's fashion. That beat kind of basically brought the book to life.
Wow. What are some tips for someone who's thinking about writing a book? What would you tell them to know before they get to the book portion?
I would say they have to be very committed to the process and the idea, because there are quite a number of steps to go from having a great book idea to making it a sellable product. And for aspiring writers especially, I think many of us do not look at it as a business, right? You think about the writing process, but in fact, you have to think about all the elements, from how long the book is going to be, the imagery that's going to go with the book, how are you going to market the book, where is it going to sell, how are you going to reach a targeted consumer, at what price point, all the things that a creative writer is not going to think about.
I wouldn't expect that just for a book, but you put in a lot of work for that.
Sure, and it goes across. My book would fall under the category of an academic press versus a consumer book. But no question, in either way, whether you're doing fiction or nonfiction, the process is somewhat similar. One of the things a lot of people aren't knowing of is that from idea to execution can take anywhere, depending on the kind of book that you're writing, probably 18 to 24 months. It's quite a long process.
So Lauren, on the other end of the spectrum, you write children's books. How long does it take you to write something like Lipstick on a Pug, which is a great book? It's so cute.
Thank you. Well, like she said, the process and the idea period can be a very long period of time. This was based on my personal experience as a child with my first rescue pug, when we really didn't even use the term rescue. And once I finally organized it, which that takes time, and decided, okay, I'm finally going to write this, when I actually finally got through all of the ideas and things like that, I wrote the book in a matter of a couple hours, actually. But all of that preparation is what really takes up the majority of your time ahead of time.
With all that said, is there another book in the works?
Yes. I got started doing the children's books with my son, trying to keep him interested in school and doing rhymes when he was younger, and putting in the names of our dogs, which have always been pugs, of course. And we have definitely other books in the works. We just published a Pug Dala coloring book, which is actually an adult coloring book, which is pretty popular right now. And we have another book coming out probably in 2016 that will be based on one of our pugs named Sarge, who had an amazing superpower, which was to go around and snort on everyone. So
That's cute.
the working title is Pug Sarge and the Super Soaking Snot Blaster.
Alliteration, okay. And you also have an almanac as well.
Right, our Pet Business Planning Almanac. Another one of my personalities is having the International Association of Pet Fashion Professionals, and that definitely is more of a business book, and it's based on very, very loosely Ben Franklin's almanac of putting things together that would be helpful tips for people in the pet industry. It has like pet holidays by date, week, and month, and because Ben had in his publication things like the moon cycles, Ellen Zucker is a co-author with me on that. My publishing imprint, Let Paul Press, we hired her to do an astrology section, which I get a lot of comments on, and I think that people, instead of doing the business planning part, they really just flip to Ellen's section right away, because they, want to see what did she predict for the year.
Of course, I want to know my future. Last question goes to Elena. What are some challenges that you had in writing a nonfiction book?
Well, there are quite a bit of challenges. You have to be able to do both primary and secondary research. And depending on the length of time that you have to write a manuscript, I wrote my book in about 9 months. And I had a goal of doing 100 interviews, but I only reached about 70. So you have to do that within a certain amount of time. So I would say time is not always on your side, but making sure that you get not only land the interviews, but conduct really good interviews to give you the kind of work that you need to get your idea out.
Thank you, ladies, both for being here and for sharing your experiences here with us. Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Celebrity Catwalk. I'm Stephanie Matera, your lifestyle correspondent. And by now you know I love animals, right? And I love to exercise. So what is the perfect combination but to find an app that helps me help animals while I'm burning calories? So here we have Bailey Schroeder, the founder of Rescue Walk, and it's a newly improved app. It's in its third iteration, and she's here to share with us those amazing updates. How are you doing today, Bailey?
I'm so good, Stephanie. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. So I have it on my Samsung, and I love this app. So I noticed you always feature a different sponsor. Can you tell our viewers why that's important?
Yeah, sure. So every month we have a different sponsor that comes and partners with us in order to give away products and money to different animal welfare organizations across the country. And so we have sponsors like Kong and Mariel who are providing money, but also things like toys and really important medical treatments for animals in need.
That's perfect. That is so beautiful. And I know that you have this pet-friendly tab now on the phone. And so you have this vets and animal hospitals tab.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about that?
Sure. So the pet-friendly places, what we wanted to do was give people the ability to find places in their community where they could go with their pets.
Yeah.
And vets in emergency are obviously something every pet parent hopes to not have to need, but the resource being there is something that should be there. And so with the vets, what we're doing is we're partnering up with Mariel.
Yeah.
And every time you check in to a vet across the country, Mariel will give away a dose of flea and tick control to a shelter animal, helping protect them from disease and things of that nature.
Which is so important because the shelter pets, sometimes with their rescues off the streets, such as strays, cats or dogs, and they have fleas, that's really serious. And for kittens, it can cause, and puppies, anemia. So it's really great that you're making that so accessible to shelters and rescues, and you're empowering your walkers to do that.
Well, that was the thing. I mean, everyone wants the ability to give, and we're just trying to make that an easy, part of your everyday routine.
Yeah, that is so great. So the leaderboard part is really interesting. So I always walk for the Alliance for New York City's Animals. Yeah. I'm their spokesgirl, and I love them, so I always walk for them. So they come to the top of my tab. But then I see other rescue organizations there, and I'll just turn it towards the camera for the viewers, but this is for them to show what the top performing groups are, how many walkers they have. And
exactly. So what it is your groups will pin to the top, and then below that will be every rescue and shelter based on how many miles have been walked for them during the week.
Yeah.
And so on any given week, people are walking between 50 and 60,000 miles.
Okay.
And some of the groups are walking upwards of 15,000 miles a week.
That's impressive.
Yeah, especially when it's cold, so yeah.
That's great. What about Rescue Walk? Like, what is it that really just gets you excited to keep coming up with new innovations? Because when you first come out with an app, it's great, but then you have to keep taking it to that next level and kind of being ingenious and finding where you can kind of innovate. So what gets you like driven, and where do you find your inspiration?
I think as a pet parent, what I want to do is twofold. I want to support the animal welfare community because that's where I got my dog from, and I know all the effort and the passion of the people that make that world go around, and so supporting them is such a big thing. But beyond that, I've always looked for ways to integrate Charlie, my dog, into my daily routine. And so with things like, with pet-friendly places, it's like, I want to take him to brunch. Like, where can we eat together? I want to find a new park. Where can we go explore? I need to go shopping. What shopping, what stores can I bring him into? So that's kind of my inspiration, is the rescue world, and then also how do I get Charlie into more, elements of my daily life.
That's great. And you just did a new video. And
I did.
So tell us about that, where it was for the relaunch.
Yeah, so we did a new video, and you're in it.
I make a brief cameo. There's a really cute Frenchie that upstaged me, and I'm totally okay with it.
Oh yeah, the Frenchie is so cute. Yeah, no, I feel like with videos, the idea is just trying to make, the whole concept of Rescue Walk accessible and understandable in a split, minute and a half. And so that was kind of the goal with the video, and you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. So did you. I love seeing how you show how easy and effortless it is you're already going to run your errands. Just open your app, hit start walk, right? After if your organization, it defaults to the one you walk with.
Exactly.
And then you're already, I mean, you could just go to the bank, walk to the bank, a couple blocks, go have lunch, and you're helping. And it's just so effortless.
No, exactly. And like, you don't have to have a dog. That's one important point. Like, we have a lot of people on the app actually that have cats, they have bunnies, they have ferrets.
Right.
And you know, they're walking to the train, they're walking to work, and all of those miles add up and they help the rescue or shelter that they care about.
I love that. So if our viewers want to download the Rescue Walk app, where do they go?
RescueWalk.com or the App Store or Google Play.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bailey Schroeder, for being with us.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you.
Thank
Paws in the City 2016, CelebrityCatwalk.com. Furry fashionistas will once again be hitting the catwalk for charity. Designers are currently being considered for Paws in the City 2016 in New York City. If you would like to participate in Celebrity Catwalk's next Paws in the City event, here are some important details that you need to know about. Paws in the City weekend will take place in New York City the weekend of May 20th, 2016. That's the weekend before Memorial Day. Designs are due in New York City by April 15th, 2016. Designers pick models from the approved Celebrity Catwalk model roster. Designers also create and donate a minimum of 10 looks for the runway. Not 6, not 7, but 10. Of course, you can create more than 10, but 10 is the minimum. Why 10, you say? Because the fashion show itself is made up for each designer. Each designer has their own scene within the show, so designers have total control over what they put on the catwalk. Celebrity Catwalk, we do months of promoting the show and its participating designers. So if you want your designs to hit the catwalk for charity, we look forward to hearing from you. CelebrityCatwalk.com.